Hi, my name's Steve Toland, head of LMAX InterBank, and today I'm going to be talking about fixing orders. Very much in the news recently with the investigations which are going on in several jurisdictions of the world. And talking a little about those fixing orders, why they're used, how they're transacted, how the rates are actually calculated for one of the main fixes, and also an alternative that's available for those asset managers which use them. So first off, what is a fixing order? Well, they're typically used by buy-side asset managers. They want to transact large size, and they actually want to report back to their shareholders or stakeholders the benchmark rate that they're actually using to cheer against the published rate. The most popular fixing rate which is established is the 4 p.m. London fix. And the way the process will typically work is the buy-side asset manager will call their bank, say around lunchtime, and say, I'm a buyer in this afternoon's fix of say 250 million euros, and the bank will take that order in. The bank then has obviously a risk position, and what they'll look for is over a subsequent time period, they'll see if they get any offsetting orders from their other customers to match off with the buy-side order, the buy order that they've already taken on. But maybe it's say 3 p.m. Ahead of the fix, they'll actually start reaching out to other banks via brokers or electronic systems to try and find a sell order to match with the buy-side order that they have. So typically they'll get the 250 million buy with the 250 million sell, put the two together, and essentially they've covered their risk position. But at that time, they and the asset manager do not actually know what price they're going to transact at. That's actually calculated at 4 p.m. by another company named WM. So what happens at 4 p.m? At 4 p.m, WM go out to 3 market sources and over a 1-minute window take per second snapshots of data from those sources, looking at bids and offers and transactions which are going through, and basically average it out over a minute to calculate a benchmark rate, which they then publish. So that's the rate which actually is applied to the orders on each side. It is an average, so it works for the guy who was on the buy of the order and the sell of the order, so they're both treated equally. But the questions they ask themselves are this. One is basically how the rate was calculated. As WM say themselves, at that time, particularly around 4 p.m, there's lots of activity going through the market, and the market is actually transacted in milliseconds. So their 1-second snapshots are just a sample of data. Obviously the time period is only a minute as well, and this is actually hours after the original customer left the order with the bank. So what's the alternative? What's another way they could do it? Well, an alternative may be to use a fix, not a fix, but an algo execution tool. And those are typically provided by banks on their portals, and the customer in this case will basically use that algo execution tool to transact that large order over time using some certain parameters. So the algo execution tool will go out to a range of market sources, including LMAX InterBank, looking for a best price, but also looking to minimize market impact over time. So if they say typically 2 million on one venue, which is a good price, they may only take 1 million from that venue, so the price doesn't move on that venue. Hence, they can hopefully get best execution and minimize market impact. So which is best, using a fix order or using an algorithmic execution tool? Well, if the buy-side customer, the asset manager, is not actually contractually obligated to use the fix, the short-term answer or the flippant answer is if they're a buyer, it's whichever gives them the lowest price. But obviously there's several factors which come into play. There's obviously the time the order is left with the bank, there's the size of the order, there's underlying risks and market volatility which factor into the equation for the execution. And then the question that the regulators will be asking themselves in terms of how the fix is calculated is, is a sample methodology the right thing to do? And is a 1 minute window the right time frame?